It's day 13 of 14 days thinking about Anne Boleyn, and today we're going to think about her execution. In yesterday's video, we talked about Anne's trial and how she got to that point, how she got to the point where she was going to be executed. So here we are. On the 17th of May, George and the other men accused of adultery were executed. There was an account by Chapuis, as always, pinch of salt from Chapuis, that suggests that, or said, that Anne Boleyn was forced to watch George Boleyn, her brother's execution. There's no evidence for that. Where her room was positioned, she wouldn't have been able to see it, so it's possible that she was moved in order to watch it, but there's no record of that happening. So this is another Chapuis pinch of salt moment, but that's where that comes from. So that happened on the 17th of May, assumed and maybe was told that on the 18th she would have her execution. Now don't forget, they are waiting for this swordsman to arrive from Calais. It seems that Henry paid for this in advance, so it seems likely that the trial was very much a show. He'd already ordered the swordsman. We can't be 100% sure of that, but when you think about the timings, how long it would have taken to get a message post-trial to Calais and get the swordsman there, it seems unlikely that he wasn't ordered. So Anne believes her execution is going to happen on the 18th of May. She then gets told it's not going to happen today. After all, at this point, she does break a little bit because, as she said, I believed by now I would be past my pain. So she spent all this time worrying and praying and waiting for it to happen, and then she has to wait another day. But on the 19th, she is told today is the day. In terms of the swordsman, we don't know exactly why Anne got this French swordsman. It was definitely a cleaner, more accurate method of execution. Why he chose to give that to Anne Boleyn and not to Catherine Howard, we don't know. It's often believed that Anne had to then pay for her own swordsman. That's not quite correct. Henry paid for this in advance. He paid £23 for this swordsman, which is around £10,000 in today's money. He also gave Anne the money so he gave her £20, so around £8,000 today, for her to hand out. You often see that in films, as she was walking through the scaffold, so to hand out to the poor. She obviously can't hand out all of that in that amount of time, so she hands that to the executioner for someone to arrange for that money to be distributed to the poor. When she arrives at the execution site, she is wearing an ermine mantle and an English gable hood, so very much appearing in the English style. Apparently she had a smiling, goodly countenance. When she's on the scaffold, this is obviously removed and her ladies hand her a linen cap. It's possible that she was blindfolded, but we're not quite sure. She says very little as her scaffold speech. She says that she doesn't come here to lecture, she says that she comes here to die. And people often wonder why she doesn't use this opportunity to rant and rave against Henry and profess her innocence. It was Tudor custom, etiquette, while you're up there, to say what a terrible sinner you are, how much you repent for the things that you've done wrong, ask for people's forgiveness, ask for God's forgiveness. The fact that she doesn't do this, the fact that she doesn't get up there and say, I've done terrible things, I'm so sorry for, all these terrible things that I've done, I'm a sinner. The fact that she doesn't say that is a real shout towards her innocence in itself. That will not have gone unnoticed, the fact that she didn't stand up there and talk about the terrible things she'd done and say what a sinner she was. So her silence was actually very powerful. We've also got to remember that she's leaving behind a daughter who she does not want to receive bad favour from the king. So she needs to give her daughter, mother and father and sister, the best chance that she can by not angering anybody any further. After the act is done Anne has dyed her lady's cover, her body, and her head with a white sheet, and she is taken to the chapel of St. Peter to be buried. It's not entirely known whether or not a coffin was provided to take her there. It's also worth noting her ladies, who she'd grown quite close to over the last few days, none of them were charged with anything, and they were just expected to go back and serve the next queen. It's also worth noting that people wonder why her titles didn't pass to Elizabeth. After all that reassurance that her child or children would receive land and titles, illegitimate or not, she died a traitor's death, so all titles were stripped from her. So none of that did pass to Elizabeth. So when she died, she didn't die a queen, essentially. She just died as Anne. There you go. On the 19th of May, 1536, Anne Boleyn was killed in front of 1,000 spectators. And every year at the Tower of London, to this day, an anonymous person sends red roses on the anniversary of her death. So I will see you tomorrow for the last day of Anne Boleyn. I'm going to have a little think about her legacy. See you then.